Hello everyone, this is Ali Wacek from Square One, and today I'm going to talk to you about the things that you need to know before creating a customer journey map. So I'm going to take you through the step-by-step guide that we do use when working with our clients before you actually create a customer journey. The objectives is the very first part of this process. The objectives are very important to understand because, as you can imagine, if you don't have objectives, you don't have direction. You need to really work with those internal stakeholders in your business to articulate why do you actually want to use customer journey map to start off with. Customer journey mapping is not the solution for every problem, and I love customer journey mapping, and I know sometimes I can't even get to use it. So try to understand what are the things that you want to achieve and why customer journey mapping. The second step that you have to go through is the experience that you're trying to provide. This is a very important part of the process as well, because sometimes businesses want to create it all, and they want to provide an experience that is seamless and consistent across every interaction and across the whole journey. But it works out that actually they don't have the capability, the resources, the time of the budget. So they actually need to start looking at a very little experience. And that might be the onboarding experience, that might be the retention experience. So ask yourself, what are the things that you need to actually create, and what are the experiences that you need to focus on? The next step is for us to actually start looking at the personas. What are those characteristics and what are those personas that you have in your business that you would like to create an experience for or redesign an experience to? This is very important. Not all businesses can focus on all customers or personas at the same time. So it is quite important to start prioritizing the effort and the impact of your customer experience efforts or design and innovation efforts. And you then ultimately start articulating your 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 maybe personas that you can start actually embedding into your business. So ask yourself, what are those top 4 personas that you can actually bring into your projects? The next steps are the channels. What are the channels that actually are causing some friction to these personas? What are the touch points that probably are not working very well, and those touch points or channels that are creating friction to the experience of these personas? So what are those areas that you can focus on? The rule of thumb for us is actually trying to focus on those areas that are actually broken and we need to fix because they're creating a lot of friction and they're being detrimental to both the customer and the business. So think to yourself, what are the channels and touch points that you can actually create and that you would like to focus on? The next step for us is the data and research. What information do you currently have in your business that you can utilize when actually starting to map out your actual journey? You might have reports, onboarding documents, information, previous research that has been done with customers. You might have analytics. Anything that is very useful at this point is actually great. So you need to actually start understanding what are the gaps, and also if you don't have enough and you know you still have a few little areas of that you're not quite sure, then you need to go out and create that data and bring it in. And that could be by perhaps incorporating customer research, interviews, ethnography research, observation, anything that is really going to allow you to empathize further so you're able to get all of these insights. So ask yourself, what are the data and insights that you have, and what are the gaps, and what else would you need to do to actually bring this information in before creating your customer journeys? The next phase is actually stakeholders. This is a very interesting one because we all have different stakeholders, people that support our projects, people who are not quite supporting of our projects, some gatekeepers as well, and some champions. You need to then really start understanding who do you need in your project, who are those ones who are perhaps against your project, and who hasn't been in those projects where you have some haters and some lovers, right? So start thinking about them and bring them in the process as well. Understand where they sit in, and also start thinking, what are the strategies that you can implement if you have some gatekeepers or maybe bystanders actually that do not actually want to be involved in the project, but you genuinely need them. The next one is the metrics and opportunities. The metrics and opportunities are really important. We all think sometimes that customer experience or innovation and design could be quite fluffy, but in fact, it's the opposite. It is very important as part of your maturity model that you can implement metrics and you start looking at those opportunities, and actually across the journey of a customer, you're able to create goals and targets and KPIs that breaks down the silos at the same time that you're bringing accountability to every part of the business, to those business units who are responsible for that customer experience, and in creating this human centricity. So ask yourself, what metrics do you think you would need? What are the metrics that you have right now that perhaps need to be revisited? And what are the opportunities that you know right away that can be improved upon and be brought into your journey? Those are the stages that we use during our customer experience framework. So this is before we actually start doing any customer journey mapping with our customers. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be compassionate and remember, we are people talking to people. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Sorry, I've got to put some lipstick on.
For more tips and insights, visit our website at square1.com.au or follow Square One on social to learn how human-centered design can help you create better employee and customer experiences with empathy in mind.